So today I would like to talk about Euphyllias. Euphyllias is a genus of a coral which is more commonly known as torch corals, hammer corals, depending how the tip of the polyp looks like. If it looks like a hammer, call it the hammer. But the genus is Euphyllia, and everybody, it's pretty hot right now. When I was at Euphyllia, a lot of people were excited. It's always an exciting coral. I always thought it's got the movement, people like it. It's fairly easy, it's not too difficult. You can feed them. There's a nice personality into it, you know, and most people like to see that movement. Plus, it has a great fluorescence, you know. It has a lot of that green fluorescent protein that shines under the blue LEDs. Let me show you. Let me also explain you a few things about this type of coral. It's a coral that occurs in medium flow rates, like lagoons and stuff like that. So if you have a lot of flow in your tank, it's not going to be able to open. You know, you just don't see it open. If it's not opening, too much flow, also double check your water chemistry. But also it grows like a tree. Let me show you. It's one of those corals that you will be calling it a large polyp coral. So we have a few here. So I'll just show you this under the white lights, and then I'll show you under the blue lights. There's one good example right here. So this is the skeleton outside of the water. These are the polyps. Right here, this is the polyp, the fleshy thing. There's a mouth in the center of that polyp. That's how they eat. So this one that looks like more like as hammers, the tips, is a hammer coral. This one that has elongated polyps, elongated tentacles, that's called the torch coral. See, there's more, and it grows like if it was a tree. So each polyp will become two, and then it grows a little bit more, so on, so on. So it grows like this. So one polyp comes here, and then that polyp eventually breaks in two, and you got two polyps, and the same thing happened here, and you got two. This is the type of growth that you will see. And then if you want to frag it, you just get right here. Try not to get the flesh, just get the skeleton, which is calcium carbonate. This type of coral, to grow, as pretty much any other coral, will need calcium carbonate to build their skeleton. So it needs calcium, it needs CO3, which is carbonate, and I will make a calcium carbonate. So you need to buff those calcium, and you need to do those buffer. And the test that you're going to do will be the calcium test, and then you will need the KH test, carbonate hardness. So calcium should be around 400, 420, 440, and then KH at least 8, 9. So this will be the range to keep these corals happy. Also, phosphates gotta be low. If you, I'll say low enough so it's undetectable, and you cannot see it in a regular high range test like the API. You don't want to see it. Also the nitrates, if you're like 5, 10, maybe 20, but keep an eye, always test the water. And if you see those values, you just have to do a water change, and the water change will adjust the pH, will adjust the alkalinity, the calcium, pretty much adjust everything. And it's the most cost-effective way to fix a problem, usually. Not always, but usually. So let me show you a few different species of Euphyllias that we have here. There's Euphyllian core, Euphyllia glabrescens. So a bit complicated names, but some of them are a little bit more yellow, some of them are more green. This one right here is called the pink torch. It's got a nice green center, and the tentacles are somewhat pink, rose. This is a nice nice torch here also. And then we have Paradivisas, which are these ones, they call it frogspawns. And then there's the gold hammers. So there's variations in colors in between them. That one is very nice over there. Let me zoom in. That one right there. That's very nice. These guys can go price wise like $50–60 per polyp. That's a wall hammer. Sometimes they grow in walls also, not just individually, so they're not branching like these. These are called branching corals. This will be a wall. This one got died there because for some reason somebody touched the nozzle and the flow was hitting it so hard that ended up killing it. So you got to be careful with the flow rate. So if they're open like these, if they're moving like that, they're happy. You know, here there's not a lot of flow, but they're moving. Also, another thing about Euphyllias and some other large polyp corals is that if there's not too much light, they will adapt a little bit by expanding their polyps, become like a little bit bigger. So there's more, they can have a bigger surface for the amount of light that is being provided. There's a very strong light, they tend to have a lesser surface of exposuring, so the polyps will not be as big, they will not be as extended, you know. So you can put them all the way to the bottom of the tank and places with not too much flow. These guys can get huge, they grow really well. I got a few images of a customer that I do service, and this it's a 220, kind of like this one, and the coral is just massive. It's going all the way from the back of the tank all the way to the front. It also has a big I'll put some images as we go through, but you can see the size of my hand, and it's not a small hand. So just to give you an idea, this is a lace, so my hand grabs the lace like this. So stupid comparison. So you see how really big these guys can get, and even if you're diving or if you go overseas to the Philippines, Indonesia, Australia, you see several square meters or several square feet of just Euphyllias. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. What else? If you want to feed them, you can also feed them stuff like these, like Reef Energy A and B. But for something with a large polyp like that, I will give them something meaty, you know, because they can be predators, so they can grab zooplankton that is not noticing that we have Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No.
That's me getting some water. So if you want to feed the Euphyllias, the torches, hammers, and all that that group of corals, and if you want to give them something like a more natural prey that they will probably eat when they are in the wild, like the flow is bringing that type of source of food, zooplankton, I would recommend something like tiny shrimp, like mice shrimp. You can do brine shrimp. Something like, actually the reef multi-pack, that's pretty nice, because you got calanus, copepods, got fish eggs, that plankton right there. Oh, it's actually perfect, that plankton. That's exactly what it is, plankton. You can do mice shrimp right there. So you can do a little defrosted, you defrost it and you put it in you defrost it, just let it thaw, and then if you want to wash it, pre-wash it a little bit with some salt water from your tank, do it. But and then you get a little tweezer and just put it in their polyps and they will eat it, slowly but surely. Also pay attention, because the other fish, they will eventually start learning that, because the corals are not going to be fast enough to actually eat it like a fish eats it, so the fish might steal it, the shrimp might steal it, so throw some extra food around so they are distracted, and then you feed your large polyp coral. So let me show you some of the torches and hammers and Euphyllias that I have right now under the blue light.
So small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me.